Imagine standing in the middle of the Arctic, a place with no trees for timber, no clay for bricks, no stone for walls. There is only wind, snow, and endless darkness. In such a world, every definition of architecture humanity has ever known becomes useless. No tiled roofs, no cement, no foundations. The only material nature allows you to touch is also the one most likely to kill you: snow. Yet the Inuit transformed that desperation into art. They built homes without a single nail, a single plank of wood, or a drop of paint. And more remarkably, these structures remained standing, warm, and more effective than many modern buildings when faced with Arctic storms. The story of the igloo is not merely about survival. It is a declaration of human intelligence confronting material limits. When nothing remains in your hands, the Inuit invented an engineering discipline of nothingness, where geometry, physics, and culture merge into one. The Arctic Circle is a world fundamentally hostile to the idea of construction. The ground never softens. It remains frozen year-round in a state known as permafrost. Anything placed on it can crack, collapse, or be buried after a single night of snowfall. Wood does not exist. Stone is rare and often trapped beneath meters of ice. Even starting a fire is a challenge, as the air is too cold and thin to sustain combustion easily. The Inuit were forced to look at the world through the lens of physics, not engineering. If materials could not be imported, then materials had to be redefined. Snow, dismissed by people farther south as little more than climatic waste, was understood instead as a structural substance governed by rules and internal logic. Fresh snow is soft, light, and filled with air, excellent for insulation, but mechanically weak. Older snow, shaped by wind and compression, becomes denser and strong enough to be cut into blocks. The Inuit realized that by selecting the right kind of snow, they could harvest a material that both bears load and retains heat, functionally similar to modern foam concrete. And so,
this layer is perfect.
In a land thought impossible to build upon, they created one of the first forms of polar vernacular architecture, where scarcity was no longer an obstacle, but a guiding principle of design. Ask a modern engineer how to build a dome, and they will mention scaffolding, mortar, and precise calculations. The Inuit had none of these, only bone knives and tactile intuition. So how did they construct near-perfect domes in the middle of snowstorms? The answer lies in the catenary curve, the natural shape formed by a freely hanging chain. This curve distributes gravitational forces evenly, allowing a structure to remain entirely under compression, without tensile stress. Though they did not know its name, the Inuit rediscovered it through geometric intuition. When building an igloo, snow blocks are not stacked vertically. Instead, they spiral upward around a central axis. Each block is cut at a precise angle, tilting slightly inward to form a rotating compression chain. The weight of each block presses down on the next, transferring force outward and downward into the snow foundation. The result is a self-stabilizing structure: no frame, no adhesive, no external support. Like an egg, fragile when struck from the side, yet extraordinarily strong under uniform pressure. The igloo survives through the pure logic of geometric physics. Each snow block is not merely material, it is a variable in a force equation solved through intuition refined over thousands of years. If the igloo structure is its skeleton, then the quillic, the seal oil lamp, is its heart. In a room made entirely of ice, this small flame is the only source of heat. But the Inuit treated it less as a heater and more as a thermal balancing device. Fueled by oil rendered from seal fat, the quillic burns with a steady flame and minimal smoke. Placed near the center of the igloo,
we are finished.
It provides light while driving a gentle convection cycle beneath the dome. Warm air rises, glides along the curved ceiling, descends along the walls, and settles near the lower floor, before circulating again, a closed-loop thermal system. The Inuit never left the floor flat. Sleeping platforms were raised to avoid the cold air pooling below. while the Quolok was positioned to equalize temperatures between layers. As a result, even when the outside temperature drops to 40 degrees Celsius, the igloo interior can remain near 0 degrees Celsius, warm enough for daily life, yet cold enough to preserve the ice walls. This design reveals a deep understanding of thermal stratification, something Western science formally described only in the 19th century. For the Inuit, it was not theory, but knowledge distilled from generations of survival. An igloo is not just a house. It is a mobile system within a nomadic lifestyle. During hunting seasons,
Yes, completely
Inuit
warm.
families traveled hundreds of kilometers across frozen seas. The igloo became a temporary base constructed in under an hour, used overnight, then dismantled without leaving a trace. This mobility shaped cultural identity. The igloo symbolizes a relationship with nature based not on ownership or domination, but on temporary use. When the Inuit left, they returned the structure to the environment, a block of ice ready to become snow again, rejoining the cycle of wind and water. In the 20th century, when European explorers reached the Arctic, they were astonished to see these ice houses withstand Category 1-0 storms. Many Western expeditions arrived with canvas tents and metal frames, only to seek refuge inside Inuit igloos, where they learned that, in the White Inferno, simplicity is the highest form of efficiency. Today, the igloo has become a global symbol not only of the Arctic, but of intelligent minimalism. It reminds us that great civilizations begin not with excess, but with the transformation of limitation into art. The igloo, this zero-cost structure, teaches us that true sustainability lies not in display or abundance, but in deep understanding of the laws of existence. When everything you once relied on disappears, leaving only snow, wind, and human intelligence, that is when architecture truly begins.